Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Mondays with Mason. I am Mason Spesky, your host here. And today, as you could probably tell, I didn't put on a jersey because I wear my Steelers sweatshirt. I just got done with the Steelers game day post-game, so that'll be out soon, if it's not already out, but definitely keep an eye out for that as well. But decided not to do a jersey as we get into the winter months here. I will be switching up to more of a sweatshirt style format probably. Don't get me wrong, I still will wear jerseys when available and able to, but it'll mostly be a lot of sweatshirts now as we get into the winter months here. Western Pennsylvania, it's already starting to get cold. It is 65 degrees out there right now, but next Monday looks better, 75 degrees, so that's cool. So we'll probably wear a jersey next Monday, so that's good to know. But Western Pennsylvanians better start getting ready for winter, so. And one more sign that we're getting closer to winter is the fact that the MLB season is almost over. And that's today's Mondays with Mason topic. We are going to preview the last week of the 2023 MLB season. And we're going to do two things. I'm going to tell you who I believe will make the playoffs, the possible seedings. And we're going to just go through the current state of the league, like who's doing what and who's playing who and who's the best odds at the playoffs. So we'll go for that, and we'll project some playoff matchups that could potentially happen. And then our next part will be managers on the hot seat. Which managers or general managers are facing the possibility of getting fired next Monday on the MLB version of Black Monday. I know the NFL every year after the last regular season Sunday, the Monday after that is called Black Monday because that's when a lot of coaches and GMs and coordinators and stuff get fired. So next Monday, a week from today, is the MLB's version of that because it's the last. Next Monday, Sunday is the last day of the Major League Baseball season. So Monday will be Black Monday in the MLB. So we'll talk about that more because next week's episode, unless we get a really interesting topic, will be my MLB playoff predictions. Regardless, though, I will be doing those some point next week once we know the official matchups. So let's look at some things in the AL East to get this video started. I have to move quickly because I have to get ready to take my sister to work here in a couple minutes. So we're going to move really quickly here. First off, in the AL East, we have Baltimore 97-59, Tampa Bay 95-62, Toronto 87-69, New York Yankees 78-77, Boston 76-80. Yankees and Boston are already mathematically eliminated. Toronto, they should make the playoffs right now. I have them at a 95% chance to make the playoffs, but that's not certain. The only other thing right now is the division still. It's up for grabs. Baltimore's magic number, I think it's 4, maybe, or 2, something like that. I don't know. I know Tampa Bay's elimination number is 4. Right now, the Orioles at a 65% chance to win the division and the Rays at 35% chance. AL Central, that's real easy. The Minnesota Twins have won the division. Every other team in that division has been eliminated from playoff contention, so the Twins will be the only team in the AL Central in the postseason this year. The AL West, this is where things get interesting. Right now, we have Texas at... Hang on, I just got a notification. All good. Right now, we have Texas at 87-68, Houston at 85-71, Seattle at 84-71, the LA Angels at 70-86, and the Oakland Athletics at 48-108. Obviously, we're going to ignore the Oakland Athletics and the Los Angeles Angels because they're both eliminated. However, the AL West, it's basically 2 teams fighting for free teams fighting for 2 spots, assuming that free teams fighting for 2 spots, right. Assuming the Blue Jays make it, which they probably will, because Tampa Bay's already got a wild card locked up, either them or Baltimore. Toronto should get in for sure. So it's 3 teams for 2 spots. One of those open spots is the AL West title, which Texas currently has a lead in. They're 87-68 right now, and they should be able to win that. Houston is 85-71. Seattle's 84-71. So it's definitely going to be interesting there to see who wins the AL West and who will get the final wild card spot and who will be on the outside looking in next week at this time. Texas, I have you guys at a 65% chance to make the playoffs. Houston, I have you at a 58% chance to make the playoffs. Seattle, I have you at a 34% chance to make the playoffs. Texas, 75% chance to win the West. Houston, 20% chance to win the West. Seattle, a 5% chance to win the West. So that's definitely interesting to know. One last thing for the AL before we head over to the NL. I'm going to go through real quick probabilities I have for each team to win the AL and represent the AL in the World Series as of right now. We'll go for this more in detail definitely next week when I do my playoff predictions. But for now, this is what we have. We're going to go do it by division. Baltimore, I have them 32% chance to win the AL. Tampa Bay, 10%. Toronto, 3%. Minnesota, 3%. Texas, 29%. Houston, 20%. And Seattle, 3%. So definitely interesting there. Everybody else has 0 because they're eliminated. To win the World Series, I have Baltimore having a 14% chance to win the World Series. Tampa Bay, 6%. Toronto, 4%. Minnesota, 3%. Texas, 11%. Houston, 9%. Seattle, 3%. So that's all I have in that regards. Now on to the National League. We're going to start real briefly with the NL East. Atlanta, 156. They've already won the division, and they've made the postseason, so we won't talk about them much. They're going to be the number 1 seed in the NL, no questions asked. They should be, at least. Dodgers are only a couple games behind, but I think Atlanta will hang on for sure. Philly, 87 and 69. Should go to the playoffs, absolutely, yes. Miami, 81 and 75. New York Mets, 71 and 85. Washington, 69 and 88. Obviously, the Mets and Nationals are out. For Philadelphia, they haven't clinched yet technically. However, I do have them at a 99% chance to make the postseason. Miami, they have a 48% chance to make the postseason, according to me. It's going to come down most likely to them and the Cubs for the final wild card spot, possibly the Diamondbacks, but I think the Diamondbacks will hold on, so good luck with those teams. Now on to the NL Central. Milwaukee, they've clinched the division. They're 88 and 68. Chicago, 82 and 74. Cincinnati, 80 and 77. Pittsburgh, 74 and 82. St. Louis, 68 and 88. Right now, I have the Cubs at a 51% chance to make the playoffs. I know the schedule is much harder than Miami's. Miami's at the Mets and at Pittsburgh. I will be there for the last game of the year on Sunday, so keep an eye out for a potential video on that, depending on weather. Hopefully Pittsburgh knocks Miami out of the playoffs that day. That would be pretty cool to jumpstart a new era for the Pirates of being competitive. I definitely think the Pirates can be a competitive baseball club in 2024 and beyond. I will be having more Pirates baseball coverage too in 2024, so just keep an eye out for that coming in April of next year. And I'll get more into that in detail later, so keep an eye out for that. But anyway, though, right now, the Cubs have 51% chance. I just think they have the edge over Miami, so I'll give that to them. Cincinnati, they blew it, I think, this weekend, kind of. They have a 6% chance to make the postseason, according to me. And obviously, our Pirates and the Cardinals are eliminated, so unfortunate for us. NL West now, the Dodgers, 96 and 59. They've clinched the division and a playoff spot. Possibly could catch Atlanta. I think it's highly unlikely, but possibility. Arizona, 82 and 73. San Francisco, 77 and 79. San Diego, 77 and 79. Colorado, 56 and 99. We're going to start off first, though, with San Francisco and San Diego. They are still technically alive, but they're hanging by a thread, so they're both not going to make the playoffs. I gave them both 2% chances to make the playoffs. Arizona, I have a 76% chance to play postseason baseball. I can definitely see them playing Philly in the first round, so keep an eye out for that matchup. And the Dodgers, yeah, they're going to the postseason. Real quickly here, we're going to go for the probabilities I have to win the league. Again, remember the NL and represent the NL at the World Series. Again, remember that this is just by division and not by highest number, so remember that. I have Atlanta at 40%, Philly at 11%, Miami at 5%, Milwaukee at 12%, the Cubbies at 7%, the Reds at 2%, the Dodgers at 15%, Arizona at 4%, San Francisco at 2%, San Diego also at 2%. San Diego and San Francisco both at 2%. To win the World Series now, I have Atlanta at 26% chance, Philly at a 3% chance, Miami at a 2% chance, Milwaukee 4%, Chicago Cubs 2%, Cincinnati 2%, Dodgers 7%, Arizona 2%, and Giants and Padres 1%. Yeah, they're not winning it, so definitely interesting times there. Real quick, we're going to look at the schedule the past couple for the teams that haven't clinched to see their possible paths to the postseason, to see who has the best chances. Houston plays Seattle tonight. And I think Texas plays Seattle this weekend, so those are going to be two huge series. Everything is on the line for Seattle in this homestand against Houston and Texas, so that's definitely interesting. Diamondbacks are going to lose to the Yankees, so that's big too. Padres-Giants play tonight. I think that means nothing because they're going to both most of the playoffs, and we already know it, so yeah. So tomorrow night, Reds are in Cleveland against the Guardians. I think they'll split that series, win one, lose one. We're not even going to go over Philly because I'm pretty confident in them to make the postseason. Yankees and Blue Jays, I think the Blue Jays have the number there. I think they'll win the games they need to get in. Cubs at the Braves, this is going to be an issue for the Cubs for sure. I think they'll be able to take 2 out of 3 because Atlanta, I think, already feels like they've cleansed everything, but don't take it for granted. Marlins and the Mets, I think the Marlins are only going to win 1 game this series, and that'll set them back a little bit. Diamondbacks and White Sox, I think the Diamondbacks sweep and effectively clinch the playoff berth. Rangers in LA against the Angels, I think the Rangers sweep and get closer to clinching that division berth. Astros Mariners, I think Houston takes 2 out of 3 in this series and keeps their playoff streak alive. So yeah, I think the teams with the best that have it best obviously are Miami and Texas this week in terms of that situation, and those two definitely should be good. Now, once we get into the weekend here, it's going to get a bit dicey. Miami heads to Pittsburgh to take on the Pirates. They should be able to win those games, but you never know because the Pirates are playing well. Blue Jays host the Rays. I think the Blue Jays will be able to win at least one of those games and hang on to their playoff spot. Cubs go to Milwaukee, take on the Brewers. I think the Brewers will probably win one, but I think the Cubs fight hard and hang on. Reds go to St. Louis, take on the Cardinals. I think that the Red Legs are going to win 2 out of 3, but it's not going to be enough, and they're unfortunately just going to miss the postseason by like a game or 2. But they still had a successful season after 62-100 being alive in the playoffs. Good job, Nick Krell. Good job, David Bell. Good job, Cincinnati. So give you guys all the credit in the world. Astros at Diamondbacks. This is going to be also super exciting. Both these teams are on the verge. They both might get in. They both might not get in. One might get in. One might not. So definitely interesting there. Rangers and the Mariners. This will be probably the series of the year. If Seattle finds a way to take 2 out of 3 against Houston, and the Angels find a way to take 2 out of 3, this is definitely going to be the series of the season, Rangers, Mariners, and that'll get all the attention in the world, and rightfully so. So yeah, I mean, definitely interesting times. Here's how I think it's going to end up. I think that the Diamondbacks will be able to hang on, get the wins they need against Chicago to avoid any drama, and I think the Diamondbacks will be the team that matches up to take on the Phillies in Philadelphia. I think the Cubs hang on by the hair of their chins, and I think they will go to Milwaukee. I think the Dodgers and Braves get byes. In the AL, I think the Texas Rangers will find a way to win that division, and they'll get the 2 seed. And I think that Houston will be the other team that gets in. They'll be the 6 seed. They'll play in Minnesota against the Twins. Toronto will play host to Tampa Bay will play host to Toronto in those playoff games, so those will definitely be some interesting games. That's just my prediction for how I think it'll transpire. It'll definitely not transpire that way because I've been horrible with the MLB so far. So, yeah, it'll be definitely an interesting time for the MLB this week. Now on to the last part of the video. Obviously, I mentioned Black Monday. Here's some teams to keep an eye out in terms, I think, of firing their managers or executives or anything. Obviously, the Yankees, I think 78 and 77. I don't think that's going to cut it for New York, and I think Aaron Boone is most likely going to get fired next Monday. I could possibly see a coaching change occurring. Cleveland's a wild card. I doubt Cleveland fires Francona. I would be super upset if Cleveland did because I really love him, and I think he deserves to stay there until he retires. So I could see it, but I don't think it's going to happen, thank goodness. I'm a big fan of Terry Francona's, and I hope he stays. So good luck with him, but hopefully he gets to stay. I could definitely see the Oakland A's firing their manager out of just anger and disappointment for the season, but I hope he stays too because I like what he's building there, and I think they just have a crappy owner and a terrible situation with the ballpark. So Oakland, I could see. Angels, I can definitely see. I don't think Seattle does, but it's a possibility, but I doubt it. Mets, Walter, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see a firing there. Washington, I say no. Pittsburgh is definitely not, which is probably a good thing now, to be honest. St. Louis, yes, I can definitely see Oliver Marmol, unfortunately, getting the axe after this, so I can definitely see firing there. San Diego, I can see a firing there. I could see Bob Melvin getting fired after this year for sure. And in Colorado, I think that it's probably, I doubt they do this, but I think it's probably time to clean house for them and just start a total all-out rebuild. So, I don't know. I think they should fire Bud Black. I think he's another good manager I like a lot that's probably going to get fired next week. So, we'll have to see about that. But the ones for sure, I think St. Louis will definitely fire Oliver Marmol. And I think that the Yankees will most likely fire Boone. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens there. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. I'll see you next week for my predictions episode on Mondays with Mason. Have a good one. Take care. Stay safe. Enjoy the upcoming week. See you next Monday. And peace.